with a doctoral degree will be greeted by Provost and Executive Vice President Catherine G. Aiken and Dean G. Chin. Zhurting B, Biological and Agricultural Engineering, is being hooded by the Major Professor Brian He. The dissertation title is In Situ Transesterification of Microalgal Oil to Produce Algal Biodiesel. Kari Brody, Athletic Training, is being hooded by the Major Professor Alan Mark Nasapani. Dissertation title, Analysis of Patient Outcomes Using the Myokinesthetic System in a Treatment-Based Classification System for Low Back Pain. Mark Correo, Water Resources, Science and Management option, is being hooded by the Major Professor Robert Hines. Dissertation title, Terraset Soil Moisture Patterns in Semi-Arid Rangelands as a Tool to Inform Sustainable Best Management Practices and Bridge Water Resource Science Management and Policy. Jessica Renee Daniel, Water Resources Law Management Policy option, is being hooded by the Major Professor Patrick Wilson. Dissertation title, Water Management and Structuration Theory, a case study in the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, Spokane, Washington region. Shuhon Ji, Animal Physiology, is being hooded by Onesmo Balemba. Dissertation title, Effects of Nutritional Molecules in Regulation of Adipogenesis and Key Adipogenic Gene Expression. Mega Karki, Chemistry, being hooded by the Major Professor Jacob Magellan. The dissertation title, Discovery of Iron-Rich Synthetic Clays for the Oxidation of Organic Compounds. Kevin Allen Decker, Environmental Science, being hooded by the Major Professor Philip Watson. Dissertation title, An Interdisciplinary Exploration of the Intersection between Economic Value and Ecological Quality to Inform Palouse Prairie Conservation. Susan Marie Kalogi, Education, being hooded by the Major Professor Paul Gathercole. Dissertation title, The Effect Project-Based Learning in Higher Education Has on Academic Achievement Test Scores and the Correlation Between Participants' Academic Achievement Test Scores and Their Field Dependency Cognitive Style. Troy Sullen Magny, Natural Resources, being hooded by the Major Professor Lee Vierling. Dissertation title, Assessing the Spatial and Temporal Controls on Plant Function Using Ground-Based Remote Sensing. Susov Dakal, Neuroscience, hooded by the Major Professor Deborah Stenkamp. Dissertation title, Beyond Oxygen and Nutrients, Regulatory Roles of Vascular Endothelial Cells for Normal Retinal Neurogenesis in Zebrafish Embryos. Bree Justine Oatman, Education, being hooded by the Major Professor Ann Kern. Dissertation title, Culturally Sustaining Pedagogy in a Science Classroom, the Phenomenology of the Pit House. Isaiah Owusu-Gian, Chemistry, being hooded by the Major Professor E. Francis Cheng. The dissertation title, Graphite from the University of Idaho Thermalized Asphalt Reaction, fundamental electrochemical characterizations. Matthew Wesley Pennell, Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, hooded by the Major Professor Luke Harmon. Dissertation title, Modeling the Dynamics of Phenotypic Diversity Across Deep Time. Kayla Michelle Hardwick, Biology, being hooded by the Major Professor Luke Harmon. Dissertation title, Behavior, Selection, and the Genetics of Adaptation during the early stages of ecological divergence. Sean Paul Haler, Mathematics, being hooded by the Major Professor Alexander Wu. Dissertation title, Disjoint 7 Cycles and the 4 Placement of Trees. Jennifer Lee Hazenerl, Mechanical Engineering, hooded by the Major Professor Steve Peninsello. Dissertation title, The Development of an Analytical Model of the Transport Phenomena Between Two Fluids in a Microchannel with an Application to Amino Acid Detection. Sean Michael Quallen, Mechanical Engineering, hooded by the Major Professor Tao Jing. The dissertation title, Development of a CFD-based simulation software for floating offshore wind turbines. Rebecca Ailsa Rittenberg, Water Resources Science and Management option, hooded by the Major Professor Jan Bohl. Dissertation title, Using process-based hydrologic approaches and place-based education to improve non-point source pollution management. Roxana Jo Hickey, Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, hooded by the Major Professor Larry Forney. Dissertation title, Diversity and Dynamics of the Vaginal Microbiome, Exploring the Boundaries Between Health and Disease. Jane Fong Huang, Education, being hooded by the Major Professor Matthew Wappett. Dissertation title, How Far Have We Moved Toward Inclusion in Tainan City, Taiwan? Masaki Aikida, Mathematics, being hooded by the Major Professor Alexander Karman Wu. Dissertation title, Enumeration of Permutations Indexing Local Complete Intersection Schubert Varieties. Leah Marie Schaefer, Chemistry, being hooded by the Major Professor Ray von Wandruska. Dissertation title, A Study of the Aggregative Effects of Humic Materials. Jonathan Christopher Stiff, Electrical Engineering, hooded by the Major Professor Herbert Hess. Dissertation title, An Adaptive Phase Quantization Noise Cancellation Architecture for Delta Sigma Fractional N Frequency Synthesizers. Ryan Patrick McGrath, Education, hooded by the Major Professor David Paul. Effect of accelerometer adherence implications on the predictions of health makers. Li Tsing Wee, Natural Resources, being hooded by the Major Professor Armando McDonald. Dissertation title, Characterization and Modification of Selected Bioplastics. Kristen Elizabeth Welsh-Unwala, Water Resources Science and Management option, hooded by Major Professor Jan Bohl. Dissertation title, Hydrologic Processes and Water Resource Management of Tropical Watersheds, an Interdisciplinary Study in Costa Rica. Peter Troy White, Education, hooded by the Major Professor Catlin Wolfe. Dissertation title, A Descriptive Correlational Study of Secondary Agricultural Mechanics Instructors in Idaho, the Integration of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics in Agricultural Mechanics. Christopher Jason Williams, Water Resources Science and Management option, hooded by Major Professor Jan Bohl. Dissertation title, Eco-hydrologic Evaluation of Runoff and Erosion Processes on Disturbed Rangeland Ecosystems.